Hello and welcome back to Norfolkfords. This is going to be a bit of a off video. This is, sort of an in-between project. So I mentioned in was it the last video or the video before? Video before, while I was installing the new seat on the 4610, I had plans to turn this 20-foot container that I'm currently stood in into a little bit of a spray booth. So it's not quite there yet, to be straight. I've got everything lined up, but I haven't had the daylight hours to get the last detail up, and I'll get into that in a sec. But first I'll get you a little bit of a tour around my shed. So if we look in the first sort of 7 feet or so, this is going to be the spray booth area up until the edge of this shelf, basically. So I would say that is going to be a fantastic size. This is going to be perfect for finishing panel work and all that lovely goodness. So the plan is, I've got a tarpaulin. I've actually got about half a dozen of them. So the plan is to seal the edge of the container, like screw it into the wall, properly make a bit of a seal up, seal down the side, seal along the roof, then have a sort of divide down the middle, so you have to go between 2 sheets, and then you're into my storage area. So as you see in the time lapse, I just did a bit of a tidy up, because this is where I tend to keep my tools, and it's not been very organised since I had to empty out my old Doubleday van. So I haven't really spoken about it, but I left my job at Doubledays, and if it wasn't clear enough, I've come home to the farm to help Dad out. And very simple why. I was just ready for that change, and the opportunity to come home was there, so it was a good job. Well, it was a good time to go for the opportunity. So thank you, Roy and the Doubleday family, for the time I had with you. But I think, well, Roy, you said it yourself, you're going to be very happy to see me go on to my next projects, I guess. So thank you very much. And yeah, here we are with a project which I told you I was going to do just before the summer. So now it's winter and it's dark, and we're finally there, but not quite there. So anyway, tarpaulins, divide, nice and easy. Then we have the rest of the storage. So this is going to be my paint shelf. This bottom shelf is where Dad keeps some tools. He hasn't put them tools back in his truck since he got his new truck, so they've been here a little bit of a while, but I don't mind, because every now and again that is handy to have a look through there. So anyway, I'm going to have paint stored up here, and I'm going to keep this as a little bit of a mixing bench. So this is a nice shelf I recovered from the workshop. I've been giving the workshop a grand old tidy, and I'll show you that later. That's worth showing off. Anyway, so we have the compressor. We're going to unwrap that in a sec. It was already unwrapped, and I have used it before, but I'd only had it brand new. It cost me 300 quid, brand new, and it got an oil leak from the motor, and so I sent it back under warranty. That was all good, and I got it back over a month ago at least, maybe more, and I just haven't unwrapped it back and put my air fittings back on. So we've of course got the water separator and the pressure regulator, which we have used before, and this is some of the new equipment I've got. It's obviously going to be a bit more enclosed space, so I am going to set up an extractor fan, possibly an induction fan, but we'll just see how an extractor works on its own. But I decided to invest in a decent painting mask, because a lot more of the I'm getting a little bit more confident with the paint work. I've got, 2-part primers and 2-part paints, and clear coats for a couple of bits, you know. I've got other projects, not just the 4610, that I want to give a bit of a paint up to, like some parts of Dad's 6310. Kind of want to paint the bonnet, but at the same time, I feel like you'd get away with a good polish. But, you know, I want the option to be there that I can just take panels off of anything, really, and just tidy them up. Because, truth is, as much as I've grumbled about painting in the past, I actually really do like it. So, once we've got the setup, get the curtain here, get some lights in. What I'm thinking for lights is get a strip light in each corner, so that way you've not got a shadow cast. You should be fairly, you know, into the middle, you know, onto your subject painting wise. So that's my hope, but you know, got a budget for that, and you know, get some dedicated power to the shed, because at the minute I'm going off of a lead through that window, which I can work with. That's not the biggest problem in the world, you know. I'm lucky enough to have a shed which I'm converting into a spray booth, so you know, I'll happily carry on like this, but there's nothing wrong with wanting to improve. So anyway, yeah, we're improving with how we're doing it. We've got a nice clean space, we're moving forward a little bit with what we're doing, getting not complicated paints, but a little bit finer paints, you know. Whereas at the back here we've got the etch primers and stuff, which I used a lot on the body. I'd like to use that again, and this is going to be perfect for that, because I've got a nice mask. We're going to have all the stuff you need for it, get going like that. But this is where I used to keep my paints, and a few hobby bits as well. But the paints I should put all onto that shelf, so everything's going to be in one location, just behind that curtain, so when I need to paint I will open up. And there she is. I've actually been oh, it's just a description. That's lovely. That's just a description of what they've done. So for testing, they gave me new buttons and valves. That's nice. They also replaced the belt. Oh yeah, I suppose that would have been covered in oil. That's good of them. So at least they were fairly quick on the turnaround for it, to be fair. It's only because I've been busy and haven't gotten back to it as to why I haven't, you know, gotten it out of the box, but that's just given us an excuse for an unboxing video. So here we are. My lovely little 2 horsepower compressor, 50 litre. We don't need any bigger than that. She's perfect size, especially for what we're after. So yeah, I guess we'll fire her up. Yeah, I don't know what had gone wrong with it originally, but it was leaking oil out of here and sort of out of here as well. And of course I wasn't using it that often. I was just, up until now where we've actually half made the spray booth, wasn't getting any use. So I'd come in here to get some tools and there was a puddle of oil beneath it. It's been set up, like I said, it must be over a month now. And yeah, no leaks. Seems to be running all right. Not too hot either, which is good. So It's in this little corner here, which is where the compressor is going to live. And for the time being, we're just going to run the extension lead from the garage shed next door. And I've got this very nice little Jefferson's extendable airline. Actually really nice. I quite like this high vis as well, because I have actually tested this, and this goes all the way over to the 4610. Which is over here. So, can't really see because it's dark, but here's the Ford, and there's the shed. So, it comes over here quite nicely. So, everything just fell into place with the spray booth and compressor projects, really. So, I haven't really got much more exciting things to say about that, other than hopefully I'll get the curtain up, dividing off the shed and keeping all the tools and bits safe from being painted over, because I don't really want, you know, like nice toolboxes and all the rest of that getting covered in paint. So hopefully we'll get the curtain of tarpaulins up, and then hopefully get some lights in. So yeah, that's all I've really got to say for the time being on the spray booth. But I promised that I would do something with it for a video this week, and well, I hope it's been interesting, at least me talking about what I'm planning to do, all the new ways I'm trying to do paint. So let me know down in the comments if you guys think I may have forgotten something, or if there's any suggestions you've got from making your own spray booth or anything similar to that, which you think I'd be better off knowing. So yeah, let's go over to the actual farm workshop and I'll show you what we've been doing over there. So this is the farm workshop. Right in the middle here is where I painted all of my 4610, really. And since I was a boy, I've always been in here building stuff with Dad, fixing the tractors, and a lot of that is to do with why I became an engineer. So this is where I was in the last video with the John Deere. It was tight, there was a lot of stuff around me. Not anymore! I have filled 2 skips with rubbish and scrap metal. The scrap metal one was nearly too heavy for the forklift, but we're clear now. So that's a load of paint, that's not going to live there. That's a load of conveyor belts, that's not going to live there. So the idea was, I was going to be quite ruthless, chuck out a load of stuff, and have done. Those shelves used to live there. I've moved it now, so now the battery charging station has a nice shelf to live on. All of that stuff along there has been deemed worthy of keeping. That is not how it's going to stay. If we go over to this side of the workshop, we have the metal rack. We have all these extra little bits of equipment which I haven't found a permanent home yet for. But anyway, we have the metal rack. We shoved this about a metre forward. It used to come to about here, and hardly anybody had come down here. So these are the old storage shelves. We've got no end of stuff on here, which I can guarantee you I can pick something up on here and say if we use it or not anymore. The 2 of us are going to go through this lot and start clearing some space. So what I'm hoping to have is not empty shelves, but shelves that aren't full like this. So then we've actually got room to store stuff properly and organised, because at the minute it's very chucked on. But this has been over 20 years of spare parts and, oh, just chuck that there, that'll be alright. You know, I've come back and we're sorting it out properly. So eventually this is going to become the storage. This is all going to be organised, it's going to be labelled. So that shelf back over there is going to be for the daily stuff, such as the batteries being charged and odds and sods, bolts, you know, daily stuff that we want quick access to. So that's what we're going to move over there. And then sort of more the main reason I wanted to tidy the workshop, we've now got bays. So down the middle, this is called Bay 1. This is where we're going to have big jobs. I've got a big job on at the minute. This is why the workshop hasn't been finished tidied. This is going to be we'll call it a rack. So down this edge, it's going to be attached to the wall. This end is going to be suspended from the ceiling. And effectively, this is going to be plywooded over, and it's going to have PVC strip curtains on them. Then this is going to go over a grading line. That seems a bit bonkers until you think that's going to keep the heat in for everybody working on that grading line. Suddenly, that's a great idea. So that's what I've been doing today. Did a nice job. Taken me a little while to get it all right. I've gone to the effort of drilling holes all the way along, so we've got somewhere to attach all the curtain to. So, you know, it's all been thought out. That rectangle there, one PVC sheet, not PVC, one plywood sheet. It's all been thought out. So anyway, that's Bay 1. Bay 1 is currently occupied. I want to bring in a topper or something like that because I need to do some bearings on it. Well, that's all right. Bay 1's busy, but you've got enough room to get into Bay 2. Bay 2 doesn't have paint in it right now. It's actually empty, like it should be, and swept up. So you can go in Bay 2. Oh, I just need to... so Bay 1 and Bay 2 are now busy because you've got my metal work, somebody's topper. Oh, I just need to come in and sort some... I just want to make up a small bracket for the tractor cab. That's all right. You can go to Bay 3. This is where the welder's going to sit. This is where, you know, this is where all the tools are. This is, again, not quite finished. I've made a hell of a lot of work. I've done a hell of a lot of work in a week. If you go back to that John Deere video where I did the front axle, have a look at all the rubbish in the background. There's been a hell of a lot of work gone into this. And I'm quite pleased, but we're not there yet. So anyway, you can come in Bay 3. Got loads of room. This is the welding bench. I haven't put a top on it yet. It's all work in progress. It's fine. So that is the workshop. And everything is slowly getting there to how it needs to be for a workshop. So I guess you could say this video's been a bit of a ramble session, which I'm a little bit known for sometimes, you know, big ramble. But this has more been a video about what I'm trying to do to improve workshops. This one, improve how I can work with my painting. You know, this video is highlighting how I'm trying to bring improvements to, you know, what I'm doing with the channel, Norfolkfords, you know, all my little hobby projects, and also how I'm trying to improve and make the workshop at home more efficient. Because I think I said in an interview for Kingsland Radio 1, I think, KL1, I said there's no end of farmers who lose no end to workshop repairs and maintenance, all that sort of stuff. So I've come back to the family farm and I've said, look, I'm going to take my experience from the past 5 years and say, look, this is what we're going to do maintenance-wise. This is how we're going to save money, because it can be done and it should be done. A lot more farms should look at what they do for a workshop, because a lot of our wastage time was on the fact that we had nowhere to put anything, because all we had was what is now known as Bay 1, because the middle bit was always empty, or empty enough. This side was usually full of pallets. No more. This is Bay 2 and Bay 3. We have room to work now. As well as we don't have the clutter no more. Well, we're halfway there. Nearly got them shelves done. Nearly got the shelves behind you done. You know, the clutter is being dragged back, and it's no longer clutter, it's organised storage. And it's just shaving off that efficiency, means you can work not necessarily quicker, but you're quicker starting the job instead of having to do tedious little things to start your job, to find the spare part, to find the equipment you need to get on with your simple repair. Because you might only have, you know, you might have sheared your PTO shaft. It's not an amazingly difficult job to do. But if your spare shaft is at the back of the workshop, behind all the pallets, behind this, behind that, you've got to bury it all out, and it's raining outside, you want to bring it under cover. You've already, in this new setup, all you've got to do is back up and look for it on the shelf. You haven't got to hunt for buried treasure. So, enough of rambling. It's now Thursday. This video is going up tomorrow, so I'm going to go edit this one because I've already done some filming this week for next week's video. But I wanted this video to be this week's because I promised that I would. So I hope you enjoy next week's video, which is showing off our Grimmy harvester. So I hope you like and subscribe and stay tuned for that one, because it is a lovely little harvester and it's done a fantastic job, not on potatoes. It's done a fantastic job on gladioli bulbs. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Lewis Eves, this is Norfolkfords.